Hello. As usual, I'm just testing to make sure this is actually working. I hope you can hear me. Right, it looks like it's working, at least as far as the dashboard is telling me. Just give it a couple of minutes for people to find that this is actually happening. There we go, first person joined. Welcome. Two people. Oh, someone left. Alright, so today I'm not going to be working on chapter 10 because I don't really have any lip sync and facial animation to do at the moment. At least not in a way that I would want to show yet, because I've said before, I don't want to shoot everything that goes into making a chapter when I'm still making it, because it kind of gives away all the surprises. So what I've done is I've loaded up Thrawn, who's not in chapter 10, and I'm going to use a bit of his dialogue from chapter 9 and walk you through the process of lip sync and facial animation. So we'll give it a few more minutes for people to turn up. I do realise it's quite a busy time of year for a lot of people. Which I hope you're all enjoying the holiday period as best as you can, given the current global events. Welcome! Yeah, this is Thrawn. He's not in chapter 10. I don't want to go into any of the lip sync or facial animation for chapter 10 because I don't want to give away too much. So I thought I would load up Thrawn and just do a little bit of lip sync and facial animation for him, and just to give you guys an idea of what goes into it, even though this has already been done, basically. Welcome. Nice to see some regulars. I'm actually getting used to this, seeing you guys showing up every week, and yeah, it's nice to see that you're still all enjoying these streams and keep coming back for more, even though I'm not going to be showing any production on chapter 10 today. It's coming along quite nicely. I just don't want to give away too much. Got to keep some surprises. Welcome. Well, thank you. I'm glad you do. So I'm going to get started. I don't know how long. I usually I stream for about an hour and a half. I don't know if this is going to take an hour and a half to do, but I'll just keep going and see what happens. What I'm going to do is one piece of dialogue, which I've already loaded in. So in chapter 9, he's not animated, so he's not going to be walking around the bridge or anything, because the stream isn't about that. It's just about the facial animation. So he's standing here in the default T-pose, and he's going to be staying that way for the stream, because it's not about that. I've already covered the animation. So what I'm going to do is we're going to play through the dialogue I've imported for him, and it's Oh, well, thank you for talking about these streams. Sorry, you kind of distracted me there. But yeah, it's nice to know that you're all talking about these streams and the video series, so please keep on going. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to play through this piece of dialogue that I've imported already. iClone generates lip sync automatically, and I don't use that automatically generated. Not you, Princess. You didn't distract me. It was Captain Spire, but in a good way. So don't feel bad about that. And thank you so much. I'm glad you found the channel and enjoying it. Anyway, so I'm going to play through it. The lip sync doesn't match up very well, but and you'll see when I play through it why I don't use the default lip sync, and I have to do it manually. But it's worth the effort, even though it takes a little while and is a bit tedious. So let's play through this default lip sync just to see how it is. And hold on a second, I've just realised. Where's the... There we go. I realised you wouldn't have desktop audio, so let me just enable that so you can actually hear him. I'm not really a good voice actor, so no, I'm not going to do that. Because, well, maybe I'll think about it. Anyway, let's listen to this. I've said it so you should be able to hear. If you can't hear what he says, do let me know in the chat.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
Right, so as you can see, that wasn't particularly great. So we're going to do the lip sync first. So this is the, down here is the audio, the wave, the name of it's slipped my mind. But that's basically what the sound looks like. So underneath here you've got these little settings. These are basically different mouth shapes. Friends and voice actors I've found. I don't know if he's here at the moment, but Matt Finish usually shows up at these streams. He voices every male character from the films, from the original trilogy. I've got a few other voice actors who have been part of the show. Robert S. Benjamin is the voice of Thrawn. And I do some voices myself. I do Talon Card and Pelion. And I'll do any sort of minor, like if I need a character that says, one or two lines of dialogue, I might do that just to make it a bit easier on myself. Anyway, so these, I'm pointing at the screen with my finger, which is no good for you guys. So here, you have these little settings, and these represent different shapes of the mouth, and this is what iClone's generated automatically, and since I don't want to use them, I've selected them all, and I'm going to delete. So now when I play through...
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well.
He has no lip sync. As you can see, he started to blink. Blinks are all done automatically. Right. Sorry if that was painful. Right, so what we want to do is we're going to start off with this lip editor. So these are different shapes that the lips can make for different sounds. And if you think about the way you talk and your lips move in different ways, I'm even thinking about it now as I'm talking to you guys. So we start off with none, because he starts silently. Well, rule 34, if you were so inclined, I guess. But I will not be doing that on the stream. But I'm sure there's fan art out there if you are so inclined. Right, so I'm going to zoom in really close because it helps to get a get the finest controls. So
Order.
he starts off with the word order, so we'll start with the O, and you can set how strong that's going to be there. So now you don't have to put you don't have to spell out every word, because that again looks really messy. So I'm not going to worry about the D, but order then goes with an ER, so we'll go with that. Other, so we'll go with the TH. And then we've got 2, so we want this one. Task forces, we do want a T for that. And then we'll go with an S. Move along the timeline just a little bit. I always find that the A is a little bit too extreme, so I like to reduce the expressiveness just a little bit. The specs of my machine are not complete at the moment. I've still been having a few technical problems, which has slowed down production on the chapter 10. So I'm using some new components and some old components, because I've had some problems with other new components, and hopefully I can get that resolved soon, and I can give you a complete set of specs. Right, let's go and have a listen. Let's have a listen to how it looks so far. So,
order the other 2 task forces to break off their attacks as well.
So, obviously you stopped talking there because I haven't gone further ahead, but I'm quite happy with the way that looked. You notice his face isn't fully animated yet. It's just the lips. We'll come to the facial expressions afterwards, but I find it a lot easier to do the lips first, because then the rest of the face goes along with that. When you do it the other way around, I find I tend to go back and then have to do the faces again. So this way it's a bit more efficient with time. So off. So we want F. There. Now, sometimes this will require a little bit of refinement afterwards, but we'll go through it once and I'll play it back, and if I need to adjust anything, then we'll do that. Well, so we'll start with the W. Again, it's a little bit too much. Hello, welcome. I'll go with this one again. Maybe that one. Yeah, we'll go with that one. And because he has a little bit of a gap between what he says next, I've gone to a none. We'll skip ahead to there, because he doesn't say anything in this gap here, and we want his mouth closed when he doesn't say anything. I presume, so we'll start with the P. I think the I needs to be moved. Yeah, I imagine the big studios have a better way of doing this. It's a bit tedious, but it doesn't take us. It's building up the enthusiasm to do it. Takes longer than actually doing it. So we want there. And we want an M there.
you
are
are
in, so we want an N. Close, so we want there's no C, but K and C sound alike, so we'll go with the K. It doesn't say anything there, so I'm going to put a none. Close, so we want an S. Enough. Obviously the enough isn't spelt with an F, but it has the same sound. Yeah, it's worth it because you get a much better result. It does come a point where you've heard the dialogue quite enough times, so you don't really want to watch ever again. But that fades quite quickly because there are a talented cast of voice actors, and so even though I've heard the dialogue a lot, I still like listening to their voices. So it's not as bad as it initially sounds. Contact, so we'll start with the K. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky because the letters being spelled out, the words are using the similar kind of sounds. We can get rid of it this way. Yeah, there's definitely that. So to do, said so quickly, has the same sound. And there we go. So let's have a look through the whole section now.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
There we go. The other thing they can do is the iPhone has a plugin for facial mocap, so you can put a webcam on and then say out the dialogue and do all the different facial expressions that goes with it. That's an option, but it's quite an expensive plugin, and some of the test videos I've seen, I'm not sure that they kind of give the quality I want. So even though this is quite tedious, it's still better than the alternative, at least as far as what I've seen and what I like to do with these videos. So I'm happy with the way the lip sync was done there. As you can see, it only took a few minutes. What was the time now? Yeah, so it started about 20 minutes ago. Well, stream says 19 minutes exactly, but I did talk for about 5 minutes. So which W are you talking about there? Here. Well, the problem with doing the okay.
I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
Nope.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well.
As well. Well, thank you so much for your kind words. John, sorry, I got distracted with the fixing the well. Problem with doing the facial makeup that way is it requires so much work to do the cleanup and get the finer tuning that it's actually quicker to just do it manually from scratch, if that makes sense. Mason, if you can give me some contact details for them, I'm happy to talk to anyone that wants to talk about the series. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're reading the Pancake. I'm glad you're reading the book as and watching at the same time. Although, I hope you're not waiting to. I hope you're going to read. You either read the book or you're going to read it anyway. Just because it'd be quicker to read it than to wait for me to do all these chapters. Connor, I'm showing off how the lip sync and facial animation works within iClone. It's not for the next chapter because I'm not really at a stage on the next chapter where there's anything I want to show off, and I also kind of want to keep some things as a surprise, so when you watch it, you haven't seen me making it. So I've gone back to Thrawn, and I'm using a piece of dialogue from chapter 9 just to show you guys how this process works. So I have to say that droid characters like R2 and 3PO are great because they have no facial animation or expressions or lip sync, which means I don't have to do this process for any of them. So maybe I should do a maybe I should do a couple of videos about just stormtroopers and droids and Mandalorians. Steph, I'm from the UK. I learnt this software myself watching tutorials on YouTube. If you look up the developers, they've got their own channel and they've got loads of good tutorials on how to do all these different things. And then the rest of it was kind of figuring it out as I went along. Lost Fires, no, don't worry about it. Part of this fun is to part of this is to show you guys how it's doing, and if you got some real feedback, then I will listen and show you how it works. Oh, you mean like this? That's a bit too far. I could just do that. Actually, if I don't know how well this is showing up on the stream, but you can see all the little details on the skin that normally you wouldn't see in the video because I don't actually zoom in this close. But you got little imperfections in the skin. It's one of the improvements that they've made to the software recently. But yeah, I don't normally go in that close. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is talk about the facial animation, because his lips move, but the rest of his face is still pretty static. So we go back to the beginning. Yeah, face key. So there are several different ways to do facial animation. So you've got the muscle thing where you've got these points along the face, and then you can select what you want and then drag them up and do things. And I've picked one that doesn't really show up, so that was not so good. Let's reset that. Here we go. It should. So as you can see, I basically selected these points, and I've got the left mouse button pressed down, and I'm dragging them around to change his facial expression. So that's option 1. It's not what I usually do first. What I usually do first is option 2 for expressions, because it's got these preset animations. So expression starts happy, and there's all these different kind of smiles, and if you click on that, you've got different moods, and it's the same thing. There's 12 different expressions. So see, this was a battle scene, so we kind of want the angry faces, because even though he's quite calm, angry expressions also work really well for concentrating, which is a Thrawn thing to do. So what we want is that, but we don't want it to be quite as intense as that. Right, so Dan, there are some. It is possible to develop plugins for iClone. I believe it uses, what's the name of the scripting language? I can't remember offhand. Python, that was it. I don't know if that would be possible to use to create a script that brings that in with Python. Programming is not really my specialty. Lost Fires, his hair is described as blue-black, so if you look here, his hair is black with a slight blue tinge to it. And yeah, Revan, you're right, there's cover art on the books, and of course in the comics and some of the video games he's appeared in. In the book, it's mostly just described by colour though. There aren't a lot of hairstyles. Well, when I started this project, there weren't a lot of hairstyles available, and even now, most of the hairstyles tend to be fairly long and elaborate, which isn't Thrawn. So I decided to go with this kind of style, because after all, he is an alien, so I thought this might work for him because it's got that very sharp point. So it seemed to work. It seemed like to work and be the best option I had available, because some of the other shorter hairstyles I knew I'd be using a lot on other characters, so a chance to give Thrawn a hairstyle that was going to be different from other characters would be the best option. Because Mon Mothma and Luke both have the same hairstyle. I just changed the colour. Yeah, so if you want to go back and check how Mon Mothma and Luke look in the videos they've appeared in, you can see that's what I did for that. Mason, let me just quickly make a note of that, and I will save it. And hold on a second. Yeah, I've just made a note of that, and I'll reach out to them after I finish this stream. Oh, I'm glad you like. I'm glad the rest of you like the Thrawn's hairstyle. He said getting distracted by those contact details there. Anyway, so we're going to get on with this. So I've given him. Hold on a second. You got this timeline. It's very similar to the sound one, but it also controls the expressions. So Well, the difference between this and Rebels is they're going for a very stylized look, and I mean I could do that, but I personally prefer to try and make animation look realistic, or at least as realistic as I can. I get why they did it, because they had to be stylized and it cuts down on the render time for whatever software they were using, which I'm not sure what it is. But because this software has quite a fast render time, it means that I have the option to be a little bit more realistic with my options, like the hair. And one of the things I did take from the Rebels Thrawn are these, and I tried to go for the original style. They just looked awful in animated form, and I think that's probably why they changed the style for Rebels, just to make it a little bit easier to animate. And so I used the same design here because, again, it's so much easier to animate and looks better. Well, thank you for spreading the word about the project, Contrarian. I do appreciate that. I'm hoping we can reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'd say by Christmas, but that might be pushing it a little bit. Morgan, I really enjoyed season 2 of The Mandalorian. We're not going to discuss, I should have said at the beginning of the stream, we're not going to discuss the latest episode because if anyone here is watching this hasn't had a chance to see it yet, we don't want to give them any spoilers. But earlier on this season, having Thrawn mentioned was quite a thrill. Anyway, so I should probably get on with the facial animation, as much as I enjoy talking to you guys. So you've got this kind of concentrated look, and he doesn't change there, but then so when he starts talking, I feel like his expression would change just a little bit. So we want his eyebrows to raise, and I pressed the wrong button there, but it doesn't matter. So this one, as you can see here, the eyebrows are raised a little bit more. So let's see what that's a little bit too much, but we can adjust the slider there. Still a bit too much. Nope. Let's try this one.
Order the other two.
That's better. Let's go on a bit further, because sometimes it helps to have, because I've only got these two bits set at the moment, so I do apologise if that gets a little bit jumpy, the audio. It's kind of how I like to work, just to drag it across and get a feel for the sound of it, and then work out how he's going to talk. So I feel like his eyebrows should go back down again. So I haven't actually read the new book yet. I started on it, but I haven't had a chance. So please, no spoilers for that.
Order the other two tasks.
So maybe I should use one of the Han bits of dialogue, because he's a much more expressive character. I can't remember what I did for this when I did it originally, but we'll go for it.
Order the other two task forces to bring.
No. Let's bring that there.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well.
I'm going to go for surprise, because It's kind of softer.
The
That's alright, that's only a little minor detail, but I just want to say I haven't finished reading the book yet.
two task forces to break off their attacks as well. Tactics.
Let's bring it down just a little bit. I like subtle animations, though sometimes you can't really see it. So then I end up doing more extreme ones when I come back and fix it. Let's go with that one. This is kind of a little bit of trial and error, so I'm not sure how exciting this is going to be to watch. Let's try that one. Also, what would really help is if I actually had the character animated rather than just standing here, because then you get the whole body movement. And I didn't think about doing that. Never mind. Now, he's kind of slightly mocking Sabaoth with this line of dialogue, and I think he enjoys doing that just a little bit. Like, it's kind of a guilty pleasure that he obviously doesn't show it very much, but I feel like he'd have a little bit of a smile, so... So we had that little smile, we'll reduce it a little bit. So yeah, what I sometimes do on the really tricky ones is I get my phone out and just watch myself on the selfie mode on my phone's camera. Sometimes it really is pretty obvious exactly what it needs to be, and sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. And so I just picked this line of dialogue at random. It felt like it would be a reasonable size to make a good demonstration. And I didn't really think about how tricky it may be. So I guess I'm showing I'm not as forward thinking as Thrawn would be. I mean, if I was Thrawn showing this, I'd have probably had it all planned out. But doesn't always work. I think that should work. Close enough. But yeah, this works much better when I've got the whole body animated. We want raised eyebrow for this last part because he's kind of... I do remember he was looking at Sabaoth. Alright, let's... Don't want to go too far with it. Let's have a look. Try that. Alright, so we're going to watch through it now. I've gone through the... I've basically done the facial animation for that piece of dialogue. So let's have a watch.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
There we go. Hi CG Tutorial, welcome. I guess this is a good stream to be watching with that name. Alright, hi Darth Nightwing Phoenix. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do. My guess is we've got several interconnected shows, and I think they're going to try and do something like the MCU. So they're all going to be interconnected, happening at the same time, and instead of Thanos as the villain of the overall series, it's going to be Thrawn. So Thrawn will probably be showing up in each of those shows, causing some trouble for the good guys, which I'm looking forward to seeing. But I'm glad that they haven't quite got him. I guess I wanted to. I was kind of hoping that he would show up in season 2, but at the same time, I'm glad I don't have to try and compete with whatever they're doing as well. Right, so this is a little bit rough.
Order the other 2 task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
But I think that kind of gives you an idea. I'm not going to spend the time to get this absolutely perfect, because this is obviously for a scene that I've finished and released in chapter 9. But I kind of wanted to give you guys a taste of it. You can also do the eye movement, and of course Thrawn having solid red eyes, that doesn't really work because they're all the same colour anyway. But with other characters, if you want their eyes to turn and look around, you know what I'm going to do is we know this dialogue is for Thrawn, but I'm going to put in a character that does have eyes, so you can see how the eye movement will look. Why do I have several Pelions? Says the guy making the show, who should know the answer to that. I think that's the one I want to use. So this is going to sound really weird, because now Pellion's going to have Thrawn's voice when it loads up.
Order the other 2 task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
Right, so you've seen that Pelion. Let's just enable the expression settings again so I can see what I'm doing. So Pelion with Thrawn's voice is an interesting thing that I didn't expect to be hearing today. So we're going to do a little bit of eye animation. So he's looking straight ahead, and this would probably work better if I had character animation, but I'm just going to make him so I need to, you select the eyeballs here, but also you want the eyelids as well, because when the eyes move, it will affect. This is not how I would actually. I mean, this is the process I would use, but I wouldn't really make him look side by side. I'm just doing this to give you guys an example of, basically just a demonstration of how it works. And I know what I just said about the eyelids, because the facial animation at this point already had the eyes quite wide. I didn't necessarily want to change that. So I've done a little bit of eye movement. Let's go and watch that.
Order the other 2 task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
So there we go. We have some eye movement. And I just remembered we have head movement, which might make this a little bit more interesting.
Order the other 2 tasks.
So I moved his head to the side. Now I'm going to I do actually like it when a character is not looking at the camera and I don't have to do any of this for them.
What are the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well?
The other one I like is when they're quite far away from the camera, so that it doesn't matter what their faces are doing because you can't really see it anyway. Let's have a look at that.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that?
So obviously it looks a lot better when his head's moving.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well.
But obviously that's not what I would consider good enough for the final scene. But it kind of shows you guys what this process is. And the final option is I can go in and really fine tune. So let's see. You can fine tune it with these slider bars. I don't know if Sidious would have searched for Thrawn. I guess we have to find out if Thrawn, or basically what happens to Thrawn between now and then. So where was it? The faces
as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that.
Right. So he raises his eyebrow here. So as you can see, I can adjust it manually there.
Enough contact to do that.
Obviously, that's quite a sharp rise. That probably wouldn't be what I would do in the final video. But sometimes it's good to just do some extreme examples to show you, what is possible.
Contact to do that.
There we go. That's a bit better. And pretty much any part of the face has these slider bars. So these are the eyebrows. You got the eyes. You can blink and squint. So narrow your eyes. Nose has these options, and the mouth has quite a lot of options. Obviously, it's quite a big part of the face that can move. And got these options as well for custom character models, which doesn't really apply to here. So that was it. That is how I animate characters, or at least do the facial animation. I don't think I'm going to do any more because there isn't really much point in redoing bits of dialogue that I've already done for a finished video. Let's watch through it one more time.
Order the other two task forces to break off their attacks as well. I presume you are in close enough contact to do that.
There we go. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And having interacted with people wearing masks quite a bit this year, since you can't see anything else because their face is all hidden, all you get is the eyes to read people's faces, and so you can see, try and get a feel for, are they happy or sad or annoyed with you or whatever. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else I can show you as far as facial animation goes. The lip sync is tedious and time consuming, but the actual animation of the face, which is what I just showed you, I enjoy that quite a bit because it's fun to play around with. And usually I can do a character in a scene, say it's a 2-minute scene, I can do one character's facial animation in about a quarter of an hour, just playing through the scene, doing exactly what I've just showed you, and then I go back and do the other characters. But the lip sync takes longer because it's quite tedious and it's very easy to get distracted. Also, you can't listen to any music or anything when you're doing it because you need to be able to hear the character voices very clearly. Oftentimes I listen to music when I'm working, but that's one of those occasions where I can't. But I get through it. Definitely looking forward to more scenes with characters with helmets on though, which there aren't really that many of them in this story, but I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop the stream there because there's nothing else I can show you guys. So thank you all for coming. Please continue to spread the word. I'd like to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so any people you can point towards the channel, that'd be really great. I had hoped to have chapter 10 finished by now in time for Christmas, but all the technical issues I've been having with my computer over the last few weeks have really slowed down production, which is quite frustrating. I do have a little surprise coming in the next day or so. I need to play around with it a little bit more. It's a little Christmas gift. But that's going to be a surprise, so I'm not going to say any more about that. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Please continue to spread the word. Should be here again next week. If you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Life Day, Sithmas, have happy holidays. If you don't celebrate any of those things, we'll just have a nice week. Take care. May the force be with you. And, well, I can't remember how to turn the stream off now. There we go. Alright, take care everyone.